Hello everyone, welcome to SAS Online Training by Edu eMaster. So, by the name SAS, it stands for Statistical Analysis System or Statistical Analysis Software. So, this is a complete suite of software products which does the data reading, data transformation, and data loading, which is the ETL part of data, and then data analysis and reporting of data. So this does an end-to-end job of the client data, which most of the clients request for. So before I move to the technicalities of SAS, let me give an introduction about myself. So I'm Swapna with 12 and a half years of real-time experience in SAS. I started my career with TCS, where I served for 2.5 years, and then I moved to Deloitte for 7.5 years, where I've worked on multiple development projects on SAS, where I explored all the functionalities and systems in SAS. So we developed a tool on auditing domain using SAS. So in the tool, SAS interacted with Excel through the VBA code and did the job of extraction of data, reading the data, data analysis, and data reporting as per the client required format. There are multiple versions of the tool being released each and every year, and I supported the tool from end to end along with the development of the tool. So then I moved to United Health Group, where again I have worked for 2.5 years. So after that, I had to take a break to support my family. So for past 2.5 years, I had been taking up multiple classroom and online SAS trainings, which helped hundreds of individuals to build their career in SAS. Yeah, this is about me. Can I know a quick introduction about you, Anupama?
Okay, so I'm basically from healthcare background. So when you said United Healthcare and all, then I was, oh yeah, you also have.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Is it like a lot different for healthcare or is it the same?
No. No, nothing like that, Anupama. So first thing, what you learn is the technology, isn't it? So the technology is same anywhere. So you use SAS and a person who worked in multiple domains. So when I say domain, it's an industry specific thing, right? So yeah, I worked when I was with TCS. I worked with the clinical trials. Then I moved to Deloitte, where I worked in auditing domain. And in TCS, I also worked with banking domain. So for this credit cards processing system, again we use SAS. Okay. In Deloitte, again it's an auditing domain, pure auditing. I never had any knowledge on the auditing domain. I learned the domain. So it's very easy to learn a domain. And one thing is, once we know the technology, what I used to feel is, whatever you do, you have to understand what the domain is, get the industry knowledge, and implement the client requirements using SAS. So ultimately, you're going to use SAS there. Only thing is, you have to understand the requirement and do it. That's it. So the domain and the technology, both are two different ways, I should say. But yes, we have to implement the technology on the domain. I agree. So for that, it's needed that you have to understand the domain and nothing else. So whatever, please don't worry about it. First, understand what the technology is, what all you can do with the technology, and that's where you go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So coming to this Edu eMaster and Pama, let me tell us a few things about the online training Edu eMaster. So our online training institute Edu eMaster started in 2011, and we had been running successfully by making students proficient in SAS till from then. And the overall training period, maybe you know this, it's for 45 days. The first 30 days is a technical training where we provide training on base SAS, advanced SAS, SAS SQL, and SAS macros. Okay, so let me just go through the. This is the. Okay, so this is the course content, Anupama. The first one says it's base SAS course content. So this is the first things that we'll be covering from the day one. Introduction to SAS software, SAS libraries, how a SAS program is written, how do we access data, read different types of data, And we have something called formats and informats to read non-standard data. So not everything is a standard data. So if there is a non-standard data, we use formats and informats. So we'll be teaching how do we do that. And user-defined formats. Again, it's almost linked to the same thing. Yeah, you'll know more about it in the further classes. And then about options, there are some dataset options and how SAS works internally. So this is very key to understand before we really get into the details of SAS. So whenever I run a program, what actually happens in the backend? So that is what we learn here. And we can read multiple types of format files, like a TXT file or an Excel file, an RTF file, a CSV file. So for that, we also have important export procedures. So we learn about that here. And the character functions. So what are the different functions and what all can we do with the functions? So there are character functions, date functions, numeric functions in SAS, which we'll learn about. And there are certain procedures, okay, which does few things. So I don't want to confuse you, but we'll be discussing about the procedures and combining the data sets. So this is very important thing because not all the data is present in one table. So let me take the example of the industry sector. So when we work on maybe a claims data, we may have the demographic information of the person in one table, and the details of the claim and all in another table, and maybe some other important information of the same person in the third table. So now there is a necessity that I can't get the entire information from one table, and I have to combine or join all the three tables to get the required information. So there are different ways of combining the data sets. So we discuss about all those. And we have a technique called merge. So we discuss about how different types of merge we do in SAS and what are the do loops, how are the if and then conditions implemented, and arrays. So when we have to deal with groups of variables, we have a concept called arrays. So yes, we'll discuss about that. And advanced procedures like proc means, proc summary, and how can we deliver output. So as I said, we can import data from an Excel file, RTF file. In a similar way, I can also export data to a PDF file, to a HTML file. So we'll discuss how we do that using SAS. And this is the advanced SAS course content. So base SAS and advanced SAS goes one after another. So again, here we learn about few extensive procedures, and then we have proc SQL, which is very, very, very important. So we'll learn about proc SQL. Again, in SQL, we can do joins. So as I said, join is nothing but combining a table with another table. So we do the same thing using a SQL and data step. And we have something called macros. I don't want to write the same code again and again. I have been doing the same thing with one particular data. I would have to do the same thing again and again. So that doesn't mean that I have to write the code again and again. We have a facility called macros wherein I can embed the code in a macro and run it whenever I need. So we'll learn about all those here. As I said, ODS, creating different types of output like HTML output, RTF output, PDF output, and an Excel file output using SAS file. So this covers the base and advanced. Any questions still here, Anupama?
No.
Okay. So this is the project training I was talking about. So once we are done with 30 days of base SAS and advanced SAS training, we move to the project training, which is the clinical trials. So in clinical trials, how SAS is implemented and how the workflow happens. And we do it with the sample project and the sample data available with us. So it's of course the real-time data as well, because we also get different types of clinical data even from net. So we get the data, we have the data, and we teach what is a CRF. Basically, all the patient information is available in CRF, which is a clinical case report form or a clinical report form. And how do we create a raw data set using the clinical report form? How do we follow the document and create the data sets? And how do we analyze those data sets and create Adam data sets? And then how do we create reports out of those data sets? So the real-time project, how we really do it in a company, we do it from the beginning till the end. So this is done for 15 days.
These terminologies are a little bit familiar to me because
is it okay?
Working in a clinical trial for
that is good. That's great.
Not much, just the basic.
Yeah. Okay. That's too good. So, I mean, it gets easier for you to follow this project training when we actually deal with all the terminologies, right? So that really helps. Yeah. Okay. So, so this is about the course content, and here in Edu Master, what we do is we allow the students to go through the training for free for 3 days. So today is the demo session. After the demo session, you can attend the training for 3 days for free without your payment. And if you like, and if you want to continue, you can continue the training after the payment is done. So once the payment is done, the SAS software is installed, the study material will be provided. So when I talk about the study material, let me just go through it. So this is the study material. We have lots and lots of books and the study material available with us, which has from the beginning for the beginners, from the beginning to learn SAS till the advanced SAS is covered. Okay. And also, so we have the SAS dumps available. So which is actually which provides a guidance, for a beginner in SAS to go through. We provide these books or SAS dumps in order so that you know what to start first and what to start next. So we provide all these SAS dumps, and we also extracted some of the new dumps which are actually needed for practicing the questions in SAS. So we provide all this. And then after every day, we actually provide the recorded video that is done in the class. Okay. So whatever is recorded, we send that in the email along with any assignment that you would want to do. And also the SAS program, which I actually run through the session. Okay. And yeah, so maybe you're aware of the certification process also, Manpama. So any person, if they want to, get through, maybe if they want to, if the industry wants to know our skills and expertise, everyone will wish to do a certification. So in the similar way, even in SAS, we have the base SAS certification and the advanced SAS certification. Once we are done with the technical training, project training, you work on the SAS terms and everything, you can apply for the certification. It's not provided by the institute, but we provide all the guidance how you can do the certification. This actually gives you more and more confidence. Yes, now I'm good with SAS and I'm good to start my career with SAS. Okay.
Oh, sounds good.
This is this is optional, but we do provide all the support and books and all the dumps. So if you see some of the dumps here, do you see this SAS certification dumps? So the question and answers, what is generally being asked in the certification. So all those are covered in the dumps. Okay. Okay.
And
any
certification exams.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm definitely interested in this.
Yeah. That actually is too good because we ourselves gain a lot of confidence. Yeah, we have learned it early. So once we attempt it, good, we actually get a lot of confidence. Yes, I'm now in a good position. Is whatever type of work I have to do in the industry, yes, I can do it now. Okay. Yeah. So, and also we have for the students who are actually doing a job search, we have a consultancy in US where we actually refer the students and provide their resumes and refer the students and make the person and we arrange the interview and make the person ready for the interview. So again, it's up to the student to take up the interview, get through the interview, and then get the job. Okay, so we can provide support till there. Yeah. Okay. So this is about the training, the course content and all. So any other questions, Anupama?
Nothing as of now.
Okay, fine. So we have covered all this. So base SAS programming, what do we cover in base SAS programming? Advanced SAS and the clinical SAS. And just to cover the history of SAS, so SAS is a software which was started by SAS Institute in 1966 and it continued till 1976. It's just not that the development of SAS just stopped there. There are multiple versions of SAS being released and even being released now into the market. As we know, for any technology, it's always necessary to upgrade as per the market needs. Yes, SAS does that too. So there are multiple versions being released, and now it started with version 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the present version we actually deal and we work on day-to-day basis is SAS 9.4, and this is being used even in all the IT companies. Okay, so with the multiple versions being released, the work you do in the technology doesn't change because you'll be writing the same program. Only thing is you have the new functionalities and new systems available. You can just explore them and you can use them. But the look and feel, for a person or a developer or a user doesn't change and it's all the same. So that's the best part in SAS. So most of the technologies, when there is a new release of a framework, I know about .NET and Java. When there is a new release of framework, there is little, that people really take some time to get adjusted to the new framework, and then they start working. So that thing is actually not there in SAS, and we feel very comfortable with whatever advanced version of SAS we are working. Okay. So why is SAS used? So we were discussing about SAS, and SAS. Why is SAS used first? It's basically an ETL tool. When we say ETL, what does it do? It's an extraction, transformation, and loading. So what is extraction? So we'll have raw data in multiple formats, maybe a text format, RTF format, Excel format, PDF format. So we may have in many other formats. So what is the first job as a developer, as a SAS person you have to do? We have to first extract the data, understand or format it in a way that SAS can understand, and then read the data and get the data into SAS. So that part is basically ETL, and we get the data into SAS system, and then next is there is the analysis thing missing. So SAS is an analysis tool as well. So I think that was missed here. So once I get the SAS into system, what is the thing that I have to do? I may have to analyze the data as per the requirements. I may have to filter the data as per the requirements. So the client may say, get me the frequency of all the patients who has joined on or before so and so date. So we have a ready-made procedure available in SAS which can get the frequencies, in the sense number of patients. The number of patients who actually have joined before so and so date. No, I would want to analyze further more on the data. Yes, I can do that. We have so many ready-made procedures available in SAS which actually does that. So that is the reason SAS is called an analysis tool, and SAS is a reporting tool. Yeah. So once the analyzation is done, I need not have to depend on another software to do the reporting for me. So there are certain softwares like Cognos or other softwares which actually does only the reporting thing. So I need not have to depend on another software to do the reporting. SAS is a reporting tool as well. Once I have the data available and in the form of a table that SAS accepts, I can generate reports using SAS. And so SAS, we can say SAS is a forecasting tool. Why we say it is because, so if I have to analyze maybe 1 lakh data or 10,000 rows of data, maybe it is easier. Maybe I can do it using an Excel file as well. But the good thing with SAS is it will actually analyze millions of data. So I remember when I was working with Deloitte, we used to work on 100 million data as well, which actually analyzes and produces results in no time. Maybe I'll have to wait for 1 to 2 hours, but still 1 to 2 hours for 100 millions data is makes sense, right? And it is too less, I should say. So and we used to get report in just 1 to 2 hours, and that's the best part. So with faster analyzation, we mean that the results are faster and the decision making is also faster. So that is what reason why many IT companies go with SAS. So there are other technologies as well. I don't say no for it, but SAS is one thing which actually does the forecasting for us in no time. Okay. Yeah, so I said we can read the data from different formats and we can also generate reports in different formats. So in what industry SAS is used? So till now we got to know what SAS can do, and now in which industry SAS is used. It's used in retail industry, auditing, banking, pharmaceutical, hospital systems, entertainment, education, financial services. Okay, and still maybe some other industries like health sector and all are not covered. Yes, we do use SAS even in that. So these are multiple industries where we can use SAS. Apart from this, maybe like the credit card. So banking also covers this credit card processing. So we use SAS there. And any questions on this industries, Anupama, where we use SAS?
No, no.
Okay. Yeah. So SAS is used in clinical research and forecasting. So as you said, you already have the idea about clinical trials. So what happens in the clinical trials? The drug investigation is actually is what happened in clinical trials. So what happens coming to the industry specific, the clinical trials, there is phase 1 investigation, phase 2 investigation, phase 3 investigation, and once that is done, once the data is available in form of a report or in the form of a text file or whatever it is, so that data is provided to the SAS programmers and they conduct the data reading, data analysis along with the statisticians and clinical data managers and provide summary tables, graphs to the statisticians to write the report. So this is basically is done even in the CDISC project that we do for the last 15 days. So why should we use SAS? So as I said earlier, it will analyze millions of data in no time and it doesn't have any limitation for the number of rows or the number of columns. Okay, it can analyze as many rows and as many columns and it has its own built-in functions to perform analysis. So if I have to get, I know that I have the patient data. I'm not really, for example, I have the patient data with three names, like the first name, middle name, and the last name. And I'm really not bothered about the middle name and last name. I'm just interested to know about the first name of the patient. Yes, I can extract the first name using an automated function. No, I would want to, I have the names of a patient in three different variables. One, the first name, the other middle name, and the other last name. I would want to concatenate all the names using a function. Yes, we have a function for that. Either I have to extract or I have to concatenate. I have the functions available. So these are some of the character functions. There are many character functions. So I just said about few things. I would want to compress the special characters in the variable name. I can do it using a function. And I want to create minimum. I want to know the minimum value out of 100 variables in my data. Yes, I have the automatic function called min available in SAS. So like that, I'm just quoting some examples. This is not everything. We have so many functions that we actually extract, pick up few of the very very important functions, and we keep discussing that in class. But SAS help and documentation is always available to you, where we can get so many and so many functions actually SAS provides. So I'll tell you how we have to use the SAS help and documentation when we actually go through the regular classes. And I can integrate multiple databases and multiple operating systems. Anupama, you can please stop me if I'm going very fast. My pace is little fast. So just let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, I'll let you know if I don't understand.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So SAS interacts with multiple databases. So we can extract data from a SQL server, from an Oracle database, and I can also access the access files, extract the data. And when I say multiple operating systems, I can install SAS on a Windows platform, on a Unix platform, or a mainframes platform. So it's a platform independent tool as well. Okay. And what SAS can do, apart from whatever we have discussed, SAS does data mining, fraud management, business intelligence, application development, and big data analytics. So SAS BI is very, very advanced version of SAS. So yes, that SAS BI is also being used in very, very less companies, I should say. So where it is actually needed. So which actually has so many functionalities available, wherein a person really doesn't write the SAS code. There are lots and lots of modules or systems available, which a person can just drag and generate the data as required. But for that, a person should be proficient with SAS. So once we understand what SAS is, what is the base SAS, what is advanced SAS, only then a person will be really good to work on SAS BI. So it's also very good component. We actually don't deal with SAS BI in our training, but yes, I'm just telling you, we also have SAS BI. Okay. Yeah. So what are the different windows of SAS? So first, let me go to the SAS system. So this is how the SAS window looks like in the in the Windows platform Anupama. So these are the different windows. I have the editor window. So this is the place where I write the program. Okay. So I won't write anything. Yes, this is the place I write because this is the editor window. So editor window is the place where a person writes a SAS program, modifies a SAS program, and submits the SAS program. So all these things are done in the editor window. So this is the place where a person, as a developer, writes the SAS program. And log. So log is a place where actually a person get to see the errors and warnings or any notes associated with the program that we have submitted. So once any program is submitted or a code is submitted, there are chances that any person can go wrong when writing the code. Not everyone is perfect. I had been working with so large experience, and still I also commit mistakes. And where is the place I can see what I've done with my program, what is the mistake that I've done. So it is the place, log is the place where I can get to see the errors, warnings, and any notes associated with the code. And if there is any necessity that I have to correct the code, yes, log gives me that information, and I have to go and correct the SAS program. And output window. So I'll be demonstrating that. So whatever output is generated using a SAS program, that output will be redirected to this window. And Explorer window. So Explorer is basically, if you see here, you see libraries, file shortcuts, folders, and this PC. So let me go to the libraries. So this is the libraries where SAS tables are stored. So just to give you an overview, so this is how a SAS table will look like. So if I just have to view list view here, so let's take an example of class. So I have a data table called class. Name of the table is class. And when I just double click on it, what are the variables I have in class? I have name of the student, gender of the student, age, height, and weight of the student. Also, these are just the variables. Name, gender, age, height, and weight are just the variable names in the table. And what are the records associated? So these are the multiple records I have in the data set, in the table, class. So I have 5 variables and 19 records in the table. So this is a typical SAS table view. How a person actually sees a SAS table. Okay, so you see multiple tables. All the gray ones are the tables, and the yellow ones are actually called catalogs. So we'll be discussing about the catalogs in the regular classes. Now I know it will be very little confusing to understand. Results. So results and output both are actually interlinked. The different outputs that we generate on day-to-day basis is actually present as a tree structure in the results window. That's the only thing. So I'll show you the difference when I actually write the code and do it for you. So just to go through the different windows, we have an editor window, log window, output window, explorer window, and the results window. So yeah, so this is again a picture which represents how SAS looks like in a window in the Windows environment. Again, the same thing. So what SAS can do? So SAS does the data analysis, statistical analysis, forecasting, reporting, data warehousing and mining. So what are the different phases we have in SAS? Access phase, where we access the data. manage the data, like, filter the data, manipulate the data, make the data as per your requirement. For example, the client says, I have the coding. Let me give an example. Just a small example. If I say manage the data, mm, just a second. Okay, so my data is like this. So 101 is the name or is the ID of the patient. I have ID. I have gender of the patient, date of joining, uh, date of joining, and date of discharge. So these are the four variables I have. I have ID of the patient as 101. I have gender as 1. Date of joining is 112019. Date of discharge is 12, well, 12 2019, or maybe it's the duration is too high. What I can do is maybe 5/12/2019, and 102 is the patient, where the gender is again 1. Date of joining is 4/6/2019. The date of discharge is 9/9/2019. Let me just repeat this to records. I have 103, 104, maybe the gender is actually 2. Here it's 2. So now I really don't understand what the gender 1 and 2 means. So in the client data, when the data is provided by the client, the client said 1 actually represents male and 2 represents a female record. Okay, so the client would want us to understand 1 as male and 2 as female, and also while generating the report, he doesn't want us to show 1 or 2. He would want us to make that as male or female. So what should I do? I have to actually manipulate the data in this case, right? So I should write a condition: whenever the gender is 1, make the gender as male, and whenever the gender value is 2, make the gender as female. So I would want to see the different values of gender based on the number 1 or 2. So this is one example of managing the data. Okay. So once I access the data, I would have to manage the data, manipulate it as per the client requirement, and then analyze the data. So yes, this is done. Now do the analysis that I want to do. Yes, generate the means of the data, generate the frequencies of the data, or provide me a summary of each patient. Yes, I can do that using a summary procedure in SAS. So multiple things. Okay. So what is the duration of stay of the patient? For example, these patients or have just occurred only once. There are possibilities that the same patient can occur multiple times, right? So there can be multiple visits. So the dates may change. So maybe this is 2/1, 3/1, and 4/1. So there are multiple occurrences of this patient because the patient has visited the hospital multiple times or has seen the doctor multiple times. So what's the duration of the patient stay in the hospital? So I can analyze them as well and then present or report the data. So again, this is a pictorial representation. Raw data, we are actually here where we get the raw data. We have something called data step in SAS, where we write the data step, generate the SAS data set, and use the procedures, so many procedures which are available as per the need. We have to use the particular procedure and generate the output, and again redirect the output in the form of a report. So every programming language has the terminology. So in SAS, we actually name a table as a data set, row as observation, and column as a variable. So whenever I say data set is nothing but a table. Observation is nothing but a row. Variable is nothing but a column. So in this data, I can say I have ID, gender, date of joining, date of discharge. I have 4 variables. And what is the data? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can say I have 4 variables and 7 observations. Yeah, in my data. And if I out of this data, if I create a name of the data set like called patient. Yeah, so in my patient data set, I have 4 variables and 7 observations. So this is just the terminology that we use in SAS. We get used to it because we do it on day-to-day basis. Nothing to worry. And the variable, whenever I say variable, there will be different attributes of the variable. What is the type of the variable? What is the size? What is the format and all? So we learn about types of new variables. We basically have only two types of variables. That's where SAS makes the developer's job very easy. Any variable can be categorized either as a numeric or as a character. And what is the extension of the SAS file? It is .sas7bdat. So let me write a sample program. So any questions still here, Anupama?
No, I'm good. No questions.
Okay. So let me go to the editor window. I said this is the place where I write the program. So let me write a sample program. Okay. So I have inserted a slash star and a star slash because I just want to treat this as a comment. This is not the code. I just said that I can write a program, I can modify a program, and I can submit a program in the editor window. So I want to make that as a comment. How do I make it as a comment? Start with slash asterisk and end with asterisk slash. So whatever text you want to include as a comment, yeah, this is what we do. And now we are actually moving to the actual programming. So I will say data student. So by this, data is a keyword basically used to create a table. So the name of the table or the name of the data set is student. And how do I start with? I should write the data keyword followed by the name of the data set with a space. And when I have a table or a data set, what is the main thing that I'll have? I'll have the variables in it. I have the data in it, right? So I'll have the input statement. Input statement basically tells us, so these are the variables that have to be declared or created in this data set. So in the student data set, these are the variables that I would want to create. I want to create ID of the student, name of the student, grade to which he belongs to. Again, when I say ID, yeah, I know ID will just contain numbers. So I'll treat ID as a numeric variable. How about name? Name basically contains alphabets, right? No name will be present without an alphabet. So I would want name to be made as a character variable. How do I make it as a character variable? I just give a dollar. So if you follow the variable name with a dollar, this tells us that name is a character variable. How about grade is basically numeric variable, so I don't want to declare it as a character. So I just leave it like that. So in the input statement, I actually give the name of the variables and declare what type it is. Is it a character or a numeric? Out of the three variables ID, name and grade, I have only name as a character variable. So I would want to make it as a character variable. How do I make it? Name space dollar. Dollar tells us, yes, I want to create name as a character variable. Now I should write data for it. Generally, we get the data from an external file. This is just a sample programming. So I'll write the data inside the program itself. How do we write the data? We have a statement called data lines and we write the data there. So I have 101 Tom, grade 3, 102 Ram, 4, 103 Ken, 5, 104 Madhu, 5 again, 105 Veda, 5, 106 Vihan or whatever. He's again grade 5. Now, yes. So this is my end of the data. I have only these records in my data. So how did I pass the data? After the data line statement, I'm supposed to write the data. So by this, SAS understands, so whatever you write after the data lines is actually part of data. This is not the programming or this is not the syntax. This is just the data for the variables that you have declared. And after the data is over, we should end it with a semicolon and then give a run statement with a semicolon. This is actually called from the data step till the run. It's actually called a data step. So this is the way how I can create a data set or a table in SAS. Any questions still here, Anupama?
This is just an example to show the data
Yes,
format. All this.
exactly.
Yeah, the actual data will get it video. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, we mostly in the programming, because I'll be doing a sample programming and I'll be telling about each and every functionality we have in SAS. So mostly I actually deal the data like this. But yes, we also deal with external data as well, and we read that data. I'll show you how we can do that also. But for working or learning purpose, this is the best way I can say,
Oh,
because you can embed your data as per different functionalities that we want to explore. So when I actually have to, yeah, now I have written,
what are we achieving by doing this?
yes, right. So now what I'll do is, yeah, I have written the data step. Now what is the ultimate result of this? First, I run this. So I have to select the entire thing from the data statement till the run statement and click on the submit. So you see a run man button here. This is actually to submit the program. The moment I run this, do you see this in the log? I go to the log window. I see dataset work.student has 6 observations and 3 variables. And the data statement has taken 0.13 seconds of real time, 0.03 seconds of CPU time. Now, okay, it said the dataset is created. Where do I see that? I generally see it in the Explorer window. And if you notice, Anupama, it says work.student. Work is the default library or a temporary library that SAS assigns, because I did not create any library and I did not assign any library to the dataset, right? So if I
Right.
have to assign the library, I should write something like this, lib1.student. So where lib1 is the library that I should have created. No, I did not do anything like that. I just said student. So by default, SAS creates the student in the work library. Okay. So this is the library, work and student. Yes, the data set that I just created, it's present. Do you see this? I
Yes.
have the variable ID, name and grade, whatever data I have passed. Now I have it in the form of a table or a SAS data set. With this SAS data set, I can do anything, whatever I would want to do. Okay, I can explore this to an Excel, export this to an Excel file. I can export this to a PDF file. This is a very sample data, I agree, with 6 records of data. But yes, if we have huge data, we first write the data step to read the data, and after this we will analyze the data and then report the data. Okay, so this is again the sample programming, whatever I have written, that is what is shown in this PPT. And then, yeah, so coming to the programming language, we will have certain rules, like, if you have seen the SAS code here, every statement ends, this is actually called a statement. This is called a data statement. So this is actually a data statement because I started with the data keyword, and this statement has ended with a semicolon. So any statement in SAS, this is called an input statement. This is a data line statement, and this is all your data. And this is a run statement. So any line or any sentence that you write is actually called a statement, and any statement should actually end with a semicolon. If you don't give a semicolon, let me run the same thing without a semicolon. Okay? So when I don't run with a semicolon, I'll be caught with a error. And if you see the log, it says the statement is not valid, or it's used out of proper order because I missed a semicolon there. So it's not recognizing the data lines, even though I wrote data lines, it's actually thinking this from the input till this data lines, it's all one statement because it's not saying the semicolon, which is actually the end of every statement. So it is treating both these lines as same, and it's not understanding the data lines even though I give the data lines. So every statement in SAS should end with a semicolon, otherwise we get error and then we'll not be able to proceed further. Okay. So that's what is said. Every statement ends with a semicolon, and I can write the code either. I can write student even like this. I can write everything in caps, or I can write everything in small, or I can write mix of. So I can write like this as well. So the programming, coming to the programming in SAS, it is not case sensitive. But when I say data, data is case sensitive, right? So when I say Tom, if I write T in small letters, the dataset may not be able to recognize, because actually Tom T is actually a capital letter and other two letters are small letters. So the data is case sensitive, but not the programming in SAS. Programming is not case sensitive. Okay. Yeah, so again, every word is separated by a blank. So data space, name of the data set, input space, variable name. And in the variable name, I can mention any number of variables. So ID is one variable, again separated by space. I have declared second variable, which is name. Again, I declared it as a character. So I can either place a dollar or I need not place a dollar. Still SAS understands that name is a character variable. For better readability, I always provide a space. Okay, this is over and grade is the next variable. So how did I separate name and grade? Again with a space. So that is what we are telling in the last sentence. Again, so reporting. Basically, I can give you a small example of reporting here. So now I'll say I have created a data set called student and now student is stored in the work library. Now I'll say proc print data is equal to student. And I say run. So what am I saying? Okay, I created the data set called student. Now give me the output of the student in the output window. How do I tell SAS? I have a ready-made procedure called print. Print, the moment you see the word print, we can understand that it prints so and so table or so and so thing, right? So here I'm saying proc print is basically print is the name of the procedure. And any procedure starts with a keyword. Any procedure starts with keyword proc. So that is the reason I wrote proc print and data is equal to name of the data set. So I have the data set student and I would want to print it in the output window. So I should say proc print data is equal to student. As I said, it should end with a semicolon, then run statement end with a semicolon. Okay, do you see this? The same data set which actually I've seen as a table here. Sorry. I have actually seen as a table here. The same thing, I'm actually seeing it in the output window now. Okay. By default, SAS redirects to output window. No, this is not the thing I want every time. I would want to redirect to some HTML output or a PDF output. Yes, I can do that using this proc print. There are multiple functionalities of proc print, multiple statements, which actually does all those things. Fine. Okay. So after this base SAS is over, we cover about SAS SQL, SAS macros, arrays, and different advanced procedures in SAS. So with this, the 30 days of training will be over and then the project training. Also, Anupama, we don't stick, if I say 45 days, we don't really stick to 45 days. Most of the times it goes to 50 or 55 days. So it's always plus 45 days and not exactly 45 days, right? Because, everyone has their own pace of understanding and has their own way of asking questions and all. So it actually takes time and it will be generally dragged further. So we actually give time for the students to understand, ask questions, and if they actually we provide the assignments on day-to-day basis. If they have any questions on that, yes, you can get back to us. We discuss that in the regular classes as well. So the timeline is not very, very strict. It's not at all strict, I should say, because I had been dealing with multiple batches and we generally go beyond 45 days. Okay. So that's from me. Any questions, Anupama?
Not about this. This I like, and I'm comfortable with your teaching style and all.
Okay.
Just the timings of the classes, like, is this time okay for you for every day?
In the morning, 7 a.m. Okay, the same time that we started the class, right? So morning for us and it's evening for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we can accommodate that timing. This timing is good. But only thing is I'll let you know when the classes would start, Anupama. So and then we'll let you know the timing as soon as possible. So the timing would be same, but the date when the new batch would start, we'll let you know soon. Maybe in 1 or 2 days. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye.